welcome everybody. I think are the final of the final voice part in Region 31's Celebrating the Voice Parts Month. We are obviously basses, the best part, as everybody knows. So ladies, would you like to go around and introduce yourselves to get us started? I've got Jo at the top left of my screen. So Jo, do you want to go first?
Hi, I'm Jo. I sing with Lace City Chorus. I've only been there 5 years, so not long compared to some of the others. And I sing bass, which is the best part. I also sing with a mixed chorus, and I sing baritone with them because the bass part is too low, unfortunately. But no, I love singing bass. When I auditioned, that was the part I wanted to go to. So that's me.
Excellent. Thanks, Jo. I can totally relate to you on the mixed chorus thing. Which mixed chorus do you sing with?
It's called Pitch and Mix. It's a relatively new one, based in Nottingham. So yeah, it's good.
Excellent. Yeah, I sing a bit of mixed barbershop and it's quite fun to try out different voice parts, but you always come back to bass.
I sing with Solent Sounds, and I've been there 25 years this summer, and I always have sang bass, and I love bass. It was a little bit difficult to join barbershop because my background was Irish ballads. Oh. I love bass.
That's brilliant. So how did you find barbershop from there?
Somebody I worked with at the hospital, she was in the lead. She's our assistant director and sings tenor. And I went to see the chorus in concert and went from there.
History.
I'll give it a try. 25 years ago this July.
That's absolutely brilliant. Sarah, you're next on my screen.
Me, Sarah?
Oh, yeah. There are many Sarahs. Sorry. Hello. Sarah, Mayflower.
Hi there. Yeah, I'm Sarah from Mayflower Cappella. I'm actually the director of the chorus. Although I was bass section leader with the chorus for 10 years and now 15 years. And now I'm also coming up to nearly 25 years. I absolutely love singing bass. Although when I auditioned, I was a bit nervous and couldn't get to the lowest notes. And I was put in baritone, which I lasted about 2 years. And then I became bass. I love singing bass. I also sing in Carousel Quartet, which you've probably seen. And we're the longest competing quartet in Region 31. Possibly because we've never actually won. But I love singing in that quartet. We have so much fun. And it's really where my bass voice has grown and developed. Long may it last.
Excellent. Well, great to have such barbershop veterans. Can I say that? That's a good thing, right? Barbershop veterans with us. Excellent. Rachel, you're next on my screen.
Hi, I definitely don't consider myself a barbershop veteran, although I have been a member of the bass section of Forth Valley Chorus since 2008, which is quite a long time now, but that was the first time I ever did sing barbershop. In fact, although in spite of my accent, I had never heard of Sweet Adelines until I lived in Edinburgh, which is kind of interesting. And I had sung in a cappella groups before, and also a Bulgarian small group of 8 women. But it was never bass. It was alto 1 or alto 2. But bass was the obvious choice because I just found that's where all the fun was. So here I am.
Great to hear you're so enthusiastic about it. I couldn't agree more. Sarah from Phoenix.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I've been with Phoenix 12 or 13 years. Wish I'd found barbershop earlier. It happened to be a poster that I read, one of the husbands worked where I worked and I went along, crikey. So I sing with Phoenix. I'm the assistant bass section leader. Love it to bits. I also sing with Footlights. I replaced the lovely Barbara Green with Footlights, so that's just a total laugh. We've tried to keep everything, ticking over as much as possible. As we do with chorus, it's very testing times, but no, I love singing bass. It's so lovely to hear so many low voices.
Oh, yeah.
Because you think, well, I'm never going to sing anything else. It's never, it suddenly occurred to me that for all my life, I've been hearing the bass all the pop songs and all the other, and I tune in straight to the bass line, and now I know why, you know, love it.
It's because you belong with us.
I know, it's absolutely, yes. Don't care how many dooms or bars or anything, but you know, it makes no difference. I just love it.
Absolutely. Sue, you're next on my screen.
Yeah, I joined Lace City in 2015. I just retired from teaching and was missing the team and, you know, social things. And I started on a training 6-week course leading up to Christmas. I was in tenor. And then I asked Glenn after that what I could do next. He said, well, you could do fast track. I said, what's fast track? He said, well, you've got to learn 2 songs by February the so-and-so. I said, hang on a minute, I can't really do fast track. I'll go for the plodding method. So I got through the audition after about 18 months and then went to Gateshead and we got gold. And then we went to St. Louis. So I was thrilled, but I was he moved me into bass. When I said I wanted to carry on, he said, oh, well, I think we'll just need to check you're in the right section. He said, you've got quite a range. I think we need basses. We'll put you in the bass section. So I then had to work on the lower pitch. And I did have difficulty with the song at Gateshead. And my section leader said, look, you can, I think that chunk there, you need to mime that bit because you can't quite get down that low. So but we got through and we got the gold, so I must have done something right. Yeah.
It definitely takes some working down there sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah. It was like don't put your chin on your neck, you know. Yes, really like it, really enjoying it.
Excellent, thank you, Sue. Charl, we're coming to you. In case the region don't know you, because you're normally backstage, but this time you're on screen with us.
Yes, so I'm Charl. I sing with London City Singers. This is actually my 10th year. This month is my 10th year being a member. So, gosh, it's been a long time. But I have a confession. When I actually came to visit them for the first time, I was actually aiming for baritone, mainly because I wasn't aware that there was a bass option. So when I was doing the voice placement with the director, Carolyn, and she said like, oh, she noticed that I can hit the low notes. And then still went down and down the scales and then begged me like, can I please be a bass? And I said yes. And now I wouldn't even think of doing any other part maybe from just for the fun of it, try something else, tenor, I don't know. So that's me.
Excellent. Louise.
Oh, well, I'm the newbie in the group then. I've only been with Singsationals for 18 months.
Oh wow,
and
welcome.
obviously for the last year we've not been together, but it's a bit of an odd, I know, that's what I mean.
You're still here.
Still going strong. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I really do love it. A bit of an odd story. We had a village event, sounds really strange, ukulele players. So we went along to this village event. I'm sat next to 3 other ladies. The ukuleles are playing, we're all singing along. And then these 3 ladies turned around and said to me, do you sing? I thought, I can't sing. No, I don't sing. You should sing. And no, I shouldn't sing. You ought to come along. And basically I got press ganged. And when I went along to listen, about 20 years before, I used to work at a newspaper and the lady used to bring in press releases for what was called Somerset Hills Chorus then. And then I walked into the room, this lady stood there and it's, oh, hello, how are you? And that was sort of it. And I remember this thinking, what am I doing here? I can't sing. I don't know what I'm doing. and then when they start singing, it's, that feeling. It is just unbelievable. And like you, Charl, I had to do well, what do you sing? I said, what do you mean? What do I sing? Well, what part? Well, Stevie Nicks, I don't know. I didn't even have a concept that there were parts. And yeah, so when we did the scales, it was, you're naturally a bass. Are you happy to try that? Yeah, okay. And that's how it all started. But I do absolutely love it. And I'm, like you said, Sarah, I just wish I'd met and done it before.
Yeah,
but
me too.
Yeah, it's really good fun.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think we can definitely relate to that. I can relate to the press ganging thing.
Yeah,
I found barbershop in Tenerife on holiday. I met 3 girls in a bar and they all sang barbershop and they needed a bass. So we sang together on holiday and that was it.
Well, I was the other way around because I worked in a school when I moved down from Oxfordshire to take up a new post in a school, and there were 2 ladies that were originally in the chorus, and they would talk about singing, and I was going, can I come with you? Come. I've been desperate to find somewhere to sing because I had always wanted to do amateur dramatics when I lived in Oxfordshire, but the school I worked at and where the amateur dramatic groups was half an hour away, and it's like, do I go home or do I come back to rehearsal? So I never actually got round to it. And when I realised that there was a place that I could sing, I just absolutely chomped at the bit. And then I got there, and within 2 weeks I'd done my audition songs, wham bam, I was in.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get the bug. Hill, you're last on my screen.
Oh, thank you.
Again, just in case the region don't know you, but I'm sure they do.
There's lots of people that
Who are you?
don't know. Who am I? I'm Hilary Pinnock, and I sing bass with Heartbeat, and I also sit on the regional management team. It will be my 12th barbershop birthday on Thursday, February the 18th. And I don't know if you ever get those leaflets through the door that invariably go into the recycling bin, but for some reason this particular day I rifled through them and there was a little sort of third A4 flyer saying 6-week free singing course, and I thought, no mention of barbershop, of course. I thought, well, that sounds quite interesting. And I went onto a little website and read all about it and thought, yes, I've not sung for years. I've done singing at school and in amateur dramatics and stuff. And I went along to this 6-week singing course, which was actually with Cheshire Cappella, who sadly are on, well, not sadly, I mean, they're with Labs now, but they were a great chorus, a sweet ads chorus too. And I remember on the very first evening thinking, do I really want to sing with a load of women? Do I? And actually it was such fun. You know, they were so lovely and welcoming. And the other thing I was thinking to myself, because I think I've got naturally quite a low voice, but I hadn't sung for such a long time. I didn't really know where they might pitch me. And I thought, but I want to sing low. If they're going to make me sing high, I'm not going to sing. I'm not going to sing. But fortunately, they did that thing where you all stand on the risers, and the higher it went, they all moved that way. And if you could get up there, you were a tenor. And then they did a low thing. It was just scales going up and down. They did a low thing going this way. And if you could get right down to the low notes, you were a bass. Of course, they could have really easily. So like, yes. I'm a bass. Oh. Never looked back. Never looked back.
No, absolutely. I think it's interesting that the kind of higher and lower are quite easy to allocate based on range, and then whether you're a lead or a baritone, I think comes down to personality. I suppose I should introduce myself as well. So I'm Ros. I sing bass with Nightfall, and like Sarah, I'm a director as well. So I direct Sheffield Harmony, and I also direct the Labs Youth Chorus. So I'm kind of cross organisation. And like Charl, I have been singing barbershop for 10 years this month, which is very exciting. So I started barbershop after the Tenerife thing that week. In fact, I joined Viva Cappella down in Kent, and I was bass section leader with them for a while, and then assistant director before I moved up Sheffield and started directing Sheffield Harmony. So I've sung a bit of lead as well, but only at men's pitch. So like Joe was saying, singing mixed barbershop, that's where we can really enjoy experimenting with the other parts because they fit more comfortably in our range.
I'm Lan O'Connor. I'm a singing colleague of Charles. We're both in London City Singers. And Charlotte taught me everything I know and don't need to know about barbershop.
Thanks.
I'll pay you later. I was one of those kids. I'm hoping that other people on this call are the same. That when all the other kids in school were singing the kids' chorus from Oliver or whatever, I was the one singing an octave lower.
Yeah.
And yes, nodding, yeah. And the teacher would then stop and say, somebody is singing off. And I'd go, and I wasn't. I was just singing an octave lower. They just didn't think it was possible in a 7-year-old. And so I was always one of those people who never wanted to sing because I could never sing in the part that was meant for me. And whether it was in school choirs or church or whatever, so you'd just be squeaking away, and it was just horrible, and would always kind of just defer down. And then I had a New Year's resolution where I said, okay, I'm going to sing in public this year, and I found a community choir, and I wanted to sing in the tenor section there, and they said, no, we can't have a woman singing in the tenor section because you're not a man. And so I had to do the walk of shame from tenor across to alto. That was terrible. So my singing history has just been a walk of shame. And then London City Singers was advertising. I had no idea what barbershop was, and they said, if you can sing along these songs, you probably posted these things, Charl, and it was the Bangles, I think, and they said, if you can sing along with the Bangles, call us. So I'm going, yeah, I can sing along with this. And then they said, oh, come and just sing a song, sing Happy Birthday and see what happens. And I sang Happy Birthday, and they said, that was a low C. And I said, what's a low C? And they said, you're a bass. So that was it. I said, I don't know what a bass is, but thank you.
Yeah, it was the Bangles, the Walk Like an Egyptian, like walk like an Egyptian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those songs, and I just thought, these are normal songs. What's special about this? And I wanted to find out what the trick was. I
think that's quite a common thing, though. I mean, I'm hoping, and that's a common thing among everyone on this call this evening, is that barbershop kind of bass in barbershop provided a sort of home that you didn't find elsewhere with singing. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, a tribe. It's a tribe.
Yeah, and anyone who's sung other choral music previously, you can sing alto and you can sing second alto, but a lot of the time it's not that low. You're still having to join the higher parts. So actually, I definitely found when I joined barbershop that this was the place where my voice just fitted, and I didn't have to feel inadequate because I wasn't singing like one of the higher parts. I wasn't having to try to be anyone else. I was just being me, and it was great.
Well, Well, like I said, like when I was looking for somewhere to sing, I actually sought out a barbershop group because I knew about barbershop, watching Fred and all of that. So I was looking for one, but I didn't realize that bass was, a female, is designated to the female part as well. So I thought that baritone was the lowest one. So that's why when I came to audition, I wanted to audition for baritone, and then found out like, oh yeah, you can sing low, so you'll sing bass. So it was, but it's a home.
I still get amazed when you say that. I mean, I still don't say, if people say to me, can you sing? I would say no. I can hold a tune now. And I can sing everybody else. But when I hear the tenors, and I just have to give them a round of applause, because there is no way on this planet I could ever do that.
They're thinking the same thing about you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what I was going to say.
I think we don't think that. We think that the tenors are just choosing to sing like that they could do what we do, and that we're just doing what we do because we can't do what they do.
There's lots of tenors who are closet basses.
In our chorus, if anybody's watching this, in our chorus there are at least 2 tenors, or people who can sing tenor, who can also sing bass, and they really want to.
Same with ours. We've had 2 ladies.
Yeah.
I find that absolutely amazing that people have got that much range, and I'm in awe of that. I haven't.
I think, if I may, the one thing that I'm finding interesting is we're all talking about obviously the joy of the low voice, but the one thing also that I really love about being a bass is the rhythm aspect, because we tend to be the main rhythm. It's sort of the beat. I mean, my husband's a drummer, and I have drummed in the past, so I guess it feels really natural for me to be part of the section that does the heartbeat of some of the songs, depending on the song, and of course. And that was kind of actually why I wanted to go on the call, because I do think there's some funny things to say about it. I think that because of that rhythm aspect, I think a lot of bassists have to have a sense of humor, because we can go through, and patience, because if we go through a whole song singing dum 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 or bum bum, you know, with a smile, you know, that takes something special, and it also takes, and you have to do it well. You can't just do it and sort of go off into space. I mean, I have a note here. I have here, basses can make those dumbs alive to make them sound smart.
I like that. Don't you think as well it gives you a sense of power, because you can speed up or slow down the song?
Yeah,
it's a huge responsibility.
It is. I mean, we always say you've got to drive it. You've got to drive it like you stole it. You know.
Yeah.
I just think, yeah, you're the you know, the basis. You are the
foundation,
the rock, the foundation. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
I love it when you've got the pickups and they have to follow you.
Yeah.
And when you kick in, and it is that sound when you are all on it and you all hit it at the right moment. And I know that the rest of the chorus is going, whoa.
Yeah, they do. And at least our chorus is very, very generous in that regard. They do kind of step back and go, wow, you guys sound good.
That was good, yeah.
So are there any other things, I know we've talked about, you know, having that responsibility of driving the rhythm. Are there any other things that you think are the main role of basses?
Oh, we're the engine, aren't we? We'll keep it going.
Yeah. Heartbeat. It's the heartbeat.
We are we're the foundation. Everyone else sits on top of us.
Yeah. And is that when they talk about resonance? Is it resonance when they're talking about that? You're building a whole sound platform. Everyone else has to fit in with almost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Track, but
I think that the word foundation that you said, Joe, actually is a really good description of basses, because I know Rachel was talking about more kind of rhythmic driving songs, potentially where we've got dum-dums. But if we think about kind of contest barbershop as well, where it's much less of the dum-dum stuff.
Yeah.
And we're all
thank goodness for
singing
that.
the words.
Yeah,
it's about contributing to that full sound that you were saying, Louise. And kind of being the basis of that everyone else can just sort of hang on your overtones.
One of the things I have loved about being a bass, and particularly learning in quartet, is we're obviously having the cone in your mind, but I love that connection. We're talking about the basses that can be tenors. I love that connection that I've learned through quartetting about creating harmonics that are actually the tenor harmonics, and this connection between the two of us in the quartet, obviously. And I love to try and get that with the basses in the chorus as well. This fact that you are holding on to whatever key the song is in, but you're also sending up this sort of message up through the whole chorus to the tenors and saying, "Here, we're right behind you." In fact, you don't. They're almost. I wouldn't say they don't have to sing, because they do a pretty good job too. But you know, you can almost create that tenor line sometimes, or parts of the tenor that's really important. I've loved that in a quartet, learning that connection and learning not to be like a heavy bass, but how to sort of lift the whole group and have it stacked on top of what the sound that I can create.
We call that being a stormtrooper.
Oh, I love it.
Coming too hard, and they go, "Can we back up with the stormtroopers, please?"
I liked it. It's interesting what you were saying, Sarah. I like duetting with tenors.
I was going to say that. Yeah, we find that in our chorus. That it's at least
the
I find
top and the bottom of the whole sound. You know, we're the outer shell, aren't we? Top and bottom, and everything else goes in the middle. And I think I do enjoy doing that very much. So.
Does anybody else find in quartetting that maybe you're not as loud as you think you are in bass?
Yeah.
And because I found that in quartetting, that I thought I was fine, and then I realized when you listen back, you actually need to make it bigger, even bigger.
I'm kind of the opposite. Yeah. I've had to learn over the years to just create very light resonance because the fullness is already there, and they go, "You're not the lead."
I think it very much depends who you're singing with.
I was going to say,
I can kind of relate to both of those. I think you don't want to be so present that you're a stormtrooper, as Louise said. But also, I think you provided it's contributing to the sound and not detracting from the sound. I think you do need a good presence there, and if you have that, as long as it's working, as I say, working with the other parts, not against them, I think that's a really positive thing.
And oftentimes in barbershop standards, we're sort of a counter melody. So actually we do have to sing a bit, sort of a bit more out there, especially because we're in a low range. In order to get that sound out there, I don't mean over sing, but you do have to sort of power it up a wee bit.
Yeah, I think that's what I mean, that it's you think that because you hear it, maybe you get more resonance in your body, you think you're louder than you are. And at least that's what I found. And I think over the years, I guess, learning how to sing, how to project, and how to be a bass, that's one of my biggest learnings.
We do a thing at Heartbeat where, especially if we're going to contest, Nancy makes us sing with cotton wool in our ears, so that you can really only hear yourself in your own head. And then you take the cotton wool out, so you can do sort of half a line and put it in and out. And the sound difference is amazing, because when it's in, you back off because it sounds really loud in your head. And when it's out, you realise that actually you're not singing that loudly.
Yeah. And the director will always tell you if you're too loud.
Yeah.
Okay, so does anyone have a favourite bass moment? So it might be an embellishment in a song or just a personal experience. Sarah's got one. Go for it.
My favourite thing about being a bass, and it's a skill that's been I've worked on over the years, is bass swipes. I love bass swipes. I love it, and I've loved what I've had to learn over the years is that when you swipe down, you think the sound up. So the skill of being able to just have this beautiful slide down and touch every single note on the way, but at the same time you're not bringing any of the pitch down, and then you're sending this sort of resonance up and over, and that sort of contrary feeling that I have in my head when I do it, I just absolutely love it. And when you find that place, I remember years ago the Buzz talking about it, and they spent weeks working on every note on this way. The bass and the tenor were moving through this swipe, and there was one point where they had to be absolutely locked, and they had to both get there at the same time at the other end.
It's such a skill to
I
match
love
that.
bass swipes. Love it.
I think a great example of that is of the swipes that you're talking about in At Last, if anyone's sung that. On the You Smart.
Yeah,
and it's just the most amazing bass bit. I haven't sung it in years, but it really kind of gives you the shivers if you get it just right.
An emotional point, isn't it, in the song?
Yes.
And it's not just about that swipe down, but because you've got the You Smile. I just realised that this was being recorded and everyone's going rubbish singing, but you know what I mean now. And you have such a huge responsibility in that, because you're going up really high and you need to sort of not overpower there, but it's got to just all work as one so that it's really effective when you come down.
As a chorus, we worked on that with David Sangster, and it was one of the sort of early stages in my directing, and then for the chorus themselves, where they just realised the power of playing with that swipe. It might have been with David, or it might also have been with Glenn that we worked at, and it's that pull back and then that sort of explosion out of sound. And it was, it's always been one of the chorus's favourite moments.
We have that a lot in our chorus too, that especially since Simon, our music director, he's also a bass, and so every time when he arranges songs, we sometimes benefit from it, because obviously, he gives us some of the yummy bits. So when we do all of these swipes as well, he will tell us like, okay, you don't need to be too present there, don't be stormtroopers kind of like thing in that way. But it is quite, it can easily just emotionally be taken over there, especially I think in one of our arrangement of I think it was the one from Les Miserables. On my own. Yeah, so he did like a swipe there at the end of like the climax of it. And I think I just managed to do it, but I always come close to the brink of actually crying there, because it affects, because I can, I have my story with that song as well. So coupled with that swipe, it's just like, woof, it's
and don't you just love that emotion? It really gets you.
But then it stops you singing. I mean, I get it. We sing You Raise Me Up, And
Oh, yeah.
I'm not very religious, I'll admit that. But my gosh, every time that song, every single time. And they now take the mickey out of me because they all turn to look at me afterwards because I'm crying.
Do you know, it's a terrible thing to say, but we have in our chorus somebody who is our temperature check, our emotional temperature check. And when we think we've done a really good job, we just turn to her and see, you know,
Right.
and if she's going, then we think we've done a good job. She is our absolute litmus test.
I mean, the aim of a
Good.
barbershop ballad on the contest stage is always to make the audience cry, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love it. But
What
you talk
I
about
do
favorite
for-
bass moments. I love, and our music director who does our arranging usually gives us one of these. I love those arrangements where we get to finish the song, where we just get the tail end, the bit that everybody's going to go home humming. He's good.
It's
at
often
that.
the Barrys who have that at the end, isn't it? But I think, yeah, it's fun when we get it. Also, a rare moment for us is having a bit of bass melody. And just when
Always
Sarah
good.
and Louise were talking earlier about getting a bit overexcited when you have those features, I think I'm definitely guilty of that when there's a bass melody.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We did I Got Rhythm, and we have a verse, a whole verse.
Wow.
Oh yes, we were over
We
the
did.
moon. Yes.
What's it called? Goldfinger,
Oh yeah.
where it's a bass.
It's a bass melody.
the whole way through.
Oh, wow.
Except when it isn't, and we forget. We do it anyway. Say, right, this is us, but the whole thing.
That just tells me that you're crying out to try and mix barbershop and sing men's lead, because it's exactly in our sweet spot. And then you do get the melody for the whole song. So I had a couple of other questions for us. And someone mentioned the buzz earlier. So that got me thinking about, are there any basses, kind of barbershop celebrity basses that you particularly look up to, and why? What is it about them that you love? So,
There's a Spanish quartet
There's a
called
lot.
Le Fourchettes, and the bass in the Fourchette she's incredible. She's like a super low bass. It's fantastic listening to her. And we sang in Sabs a few years ago, and they were one of the guests, the local guest quartet, and they were just amazing. And I had a bit of a moment, kind of. Well, I'd say she is a celebrity bass because they've appeared on Spanish TV on The Voice or the equivalent of that. And but you remember that, Charl? She's just fantastic. I can't remember her name. In fact, maybe I never knew her name.
it doesn't matter.
But anyway, yeah, I had a bit of a bass girl moment.
I think I have a couple that I really look up to for quite different reasons. One is Hayley from
Yes, Hayley Parks.
from Class Ring.
Yeah.
And she's just such a powerful bass, and I think sort of unexpectedly powerful. It's
So
not
little.
She's so tiny.
I know.
Big voice.
It's not, she's not powerful in a stormtrooper kind of way, but she's just there the whole time, and it's just so consistent and amazing. Her posts in particular, I really have post envy with Hayley. And the other person is Shannon from Martini.
Oh, no, I was thinking of Shannon from Brava, but she might not.
Well, yes, same Shannon. She's only
Oh.
sung in 2 quartets in her life, and they both became queens. So from Martini and Brava, so same singer. And I love her because she's just such a sort of lyrical bass. You can kind of feel that she really believes that that's the melody, and she's singing it like that. It's not just I'm droning at the bottom of this sound. She really kind of participates across the whole thing. As I said, really lyrical, performs like a lead. She just feels it so musically. And that's
I think what I loved about her. I haven't sort of seen her more recently, but it was years ago. I was at education with Brava, I think, and they were just sort of telling their stories. And she was very sort of shy and very nervous about her bass voice, and through her quartet they encouraged her and said, you are a great bass. And I think you meet ladies in the choruses and things and who maybe have had similar experiences like you, Lan, who just haven't been confident about their low voice. And then she just explained how she found her niche, and she did it, and she practiced, and she wrote little notes all over the fridge, had them to encourage herself. And I just loved the way that she grew out of that shyness.
That's amazing, because you would never know looking at her on stage now. I watched Martini singing If Ever I Would Leave You recently, and in that performance, she owns the stage. Like, you'd never imagine that she was this really shy singer. So to hear that story of kind of everything that she's worked on. Rachel, you looked like you were about to talk then, or were you just waving a pen? No.
No, yeah. No, sorry, no.
He's conducting.
I like Lindsay from Titanium.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I think because I adore comedy quartets. I just, that's why I love Footlights as well, and all of that. So I adore them because it's the sense of getting comedy right is such a skill. Mm-hmm. Getting the timing right, so and all of it, and obviously she can be present as well. So, but I think it's the skill of it's the stage presence and that storytelling as well, along with the comedy. It's inspiring to me. So.
You've just made me think of Becky Saxton, who sings in Raise the Roof, another one of our quartets from Mayflowers, and she's just so comfortable in her own skin as a bass, and she's so funny, and she just loves singing. She sings in that, of course. She sings in Mixed Up as well.
Yeah, I was going to say she's another one who enjoys a good male lead part.
And she also sings some on with kind of Crazy Arm, it's called, kind of rock, kind of bit more alternative band. And yeah, she just embraces her lovely bass voice and just gets out there and just chucks it out at you, and you just laugh at her, not at her, laugh with her humour and her absolute love for singing and her love for singing bass. So she's another great role model, much closer to home.
Yeah.
It's an escape as well, because you don't, as you say, if you're a shy person, it's and I think generally basses aren't. Am I right? Really shy people. But
what's shy? Explain. What is this?
Well, don't forget it. It's not important. But I think it's when you are performing, so you are that other being, and it is all encompassing, and it isn't just singing. It is the whole thing. It's not am-dram, but it's the whole performance and the. You are, and you're being someone, which regardless of which song, you're being something, and as a group or a quartet or the bigger group, you're telling a story, and it's something. It's a bigger thing than just a song, Yeah.
Louise was saying a bit earlier about not being particularly religious, and I think I would say I'm probably the same, Louise. But when you're singing in an ensemble, and Heartbeat obviously is quite a big ensemble, and we're getting it right, not just in the bass section, but across the whole chorus, I find that very spiritual. I find it very uplifting. It's, as you say, it's a whole body and more experience. And I can get quite carried away. I don't mean emotionally crying carried away, but I can get quite sort of,
Yes. Hairs on the back of the neck.
Yes.
We sing It Is Well With My Soul, and it's a beautiful, especially if you're lucky enough to sing in a quartet or an octet to start with, and then the chorus come in behind you, and that's I really have to hang on, because it's really, really emotional, really
powerful.
Yeah, really powerful. That's what it is. It's really powerful, and it's just lovely.
Yes, you're right there.
It does, doesn't it? That's why we do it. We can't keep away.
It gets the audience as well. I think that was when I first ever heard it. I mean, they're all chit, like you do, chit chat, and there's everyone's moving around on the risers, and there's all this noise. Then all of a sudden, the hush descends, and just this sound, and you just can't describe it. You have to actually experience it. And that's what I'll never forget the first time I had a birthday party, quite a biggie, and I was lucky that most of the chorus came to my birthday party.
Oh.
And you know what it's like, you've all had a glass of wine and you all want to sing. So they all sang, and we literally said, my mum was in floods of tears because we just started singing like you do. But if you're not aware of that, unused to hearing that sound, it does affect people in lots of different ways. And it's just lovely to be able to see that reaction on other people's faces.
I think that's really lovely how it can become, I think often we think of barbershop as kind of a separate life, and it's really fun when you manage to bring that together with the rest of your life and just kind of see that reaction. I know so many of my friends have obviously heard me go on and on about barbershop for ages, but actually when they first experience it, just as you say, seeing that on their faces, and then they understand why you're so invested in it.
Yeah, I went to 16 of us went to America once just for the experience. We weren't performing, and the chorus that won, San Diego, they did a whole Irish package, and all the rest of the chorus said that they knew you were coming. We've done a lot of shows, and one show I was a little bit disappointed. We were doing the 60s, and I was Lulu. We dressed the part, and I was auditioning to join the chorus. And I was coming on and singing, "You make me want to shout, shout, shout." And I thought, that's going to be great in bass. And they said, "No, you don't sing it. You have to mime it." I was so disappointed.
That's just not fair. That was your big moment.
Oh, I've had other moments. Lots.
Do you think that basses have a kind of reputation? What is the stereotype of a bass?
Yeah, good time. Good time.
Stigma or stereotype, actually.
We're the ones that are normally being told off for getting into trouble.
Yeah. Partying.
Yeah. Chat.
Yeah.
Yes, Glenn, yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of chat.
Or the ones who haven't learned their parts.
Not if you're in my bass section, Charl.
No, Charl, we learn our part.
We learn our part.
We learn our parts early and perfectly, and totally unified, and never get it wrong. Simon?
Very good.
Is this what you think other people's perception is, or is this kind of wishful thinking?
Well, in my early days of singing with Cheshire Cappella, and it's no reflection on the fact that it was Cheshire Cappella, it was just a group of people. We really had a good time. Whatever we were doing, we were having a good time. And a friend of mine that lives over on Anglesey, he used to put on my Facebook post, "I see the drinking club with a singing problem has been at it again."
That's so accurate. That's good.
You know what? I'm sure all you guys are doing virtual rehearsals right now on Zoom and stuff. Well, we're doing virtual rehearsals on Zoom with breakouts, sometimes into sections, sometimes as sectionals, and sometimes mixed. And the other night I asked, it was one of the mixed breakouts, and I said, what is your observation of the time that you might have spent observing the bass sectionals? Because they're all recorded, and some people look at the recordings. And they said, surprisingly, that the bass sectional seemed to be all doing the music, singing and talking about the music and talking about the difficult bits and the bass traps, etc. Whereas every other sectional tends to chit-chat. Do you remember that? I don't know if that's true, but that was what, and they were surprised.
Well, maybe this all ties back to us feeling, because we're also kind of proud of our part, that, we've spoken about how we've got this responsibility for being that foundation, being the bottom of the cone to create that resonance, that we want to get it right, because we're going to help our course to success. We're going to make people be moved. And without us, without part of that sound, it's not going to be successful. So,
I think we do take it seriously. I think behind it all, we do take it seriously, because we want to, it's drummed into us that we're meant to be this foundation, that we're meant to, without this, without that, great cone, the chorus loses. So it's a responsibility. And I think, although we might kind of be glib about it and kind of blasé about it, it's not even at the back of our minds, it's the front of our minds. We know that, if we're not doing it, then we're not giving anybody else a chance.
Yeah. So I think the response to that person in your chorus line is, you're welcome. I think absolutely, basses work hard and play hard. That's kind of how it's all.
I've been in brass bands all my life, really. So obviously I've only been with a chorus for 5 years, but I've always been involved in music, done numerous competitions all around the world and people who play in brass bands can drink, and they're notorious for playing and drinking. And we went to our first convention, and and basses we go and we perform, and we did really well. And then afterwards, and they said, well, wait till we get to the afterglow. I was like, well, what's an afterglow? And they said, well, just wait.
Just you wait.
And I couldn't cope, and I think I can drink, but no, it definitely was a bit of an eye opener anyway.
That's a great story. Afterglow is definitely, one of the highlights of convention. I can't wait till we can get back together.
Especially as you can get some of those extra low notes when you're in Afterglow, can you?
Oh yes, that night and then the following morning.
I found out that night that I ended up dressed up as I think it was like somebody bought a dress, like a 60s dress, and said to me, wear that. And then somebody bought some bugles. It was in Gateshead, and somebody actually brought 2 bugles from their house. Whatever reason, I don't know. And said, oh, you can play. Why did I have a go? So in the Afterglow, I was dressed up in this 70s dress playing a bugle. But yeah, it was
as you do.
It was an experience. Yeah.
We now need a photo of evidence of that.
I was just
not just a photo.
Now that you mention it,
playing. Video somewhere, but it didn't go on social media.
You've kind of drifted over the why of this. Why you just happened to be in a dress and just happened to be playing the bugle.
I think the basses were doing something. I don't know why she bought these bugles.
Afterglow party piece.
Yeah, exactly.
Convention with you.
Because there are no rules. You just,
Oh no, but but playing in brass bands, it's you talk about the emotion and all those things, and the hairs on the back of your neck, and I've had such wonderful experiences playing with them, but not until I started singing, not until, I get, like most of you, I came to Lay City's open rehearsal before they went and won the gold medal. And my friend sat with me and said, we could do this. We both played in the band. We could do this. So there was about 4 or 5 of us joined up for the singing course. And on the day of the singing course, they all rang me and said no. So I went on my own thinking, it's a good idea. But I was absolutely just taken in, and in all the places and times that I've played, I don't think there's been anything better than standing on the stage singing with the chorus. So absolutely love it.
Nothing like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's such a nice way to kind of round off. I have one final question just to wrap things up, and that is hopefully a question to each of you. What's your one top tip for someone who wants to either give bass singing a go or wants to kind of develop their bass singing? Who wants to go?
I would say if you think you can't sing, everybody can. Everybody's got a range, and everybody's got somewhere they can fit in. I'm not saying that everyone has got a full range, but don't be scared to give it a go. But I honestly would never have said I was a singer.
Until you found the bass part.
Yeah, exactly. I'm getting there. But always give it a try. Give it a try.
My suggestion is rather glib, and it's very non-technical, but I would say, particularly for singing bass, think high if you want to go low.
Absolutely.
Really, 100%. Yeah.
And my technical side of that would be learn to really know that you have that you've lifted your soft palate and that you have that freedom through, because once you've done that and you can control that, then you can have a whole range, and you can do what you're saying. You can sing, you can think high and sing low.
Well, I would say my top tip for singing bass is, because there's a lot of dum-dums and doom-dooms, and boom booms and boom booms. Record yourself and know when you're doing a dum, when you're doing a tum, and when you're doing a doom.
They all
Because
sound
what it sounds like inside your head is not how it sounds when it comes out of your mouth.
My top tip, I think, now talking about dums and tums and bars, learn the words. Even if it's tums and bums and all those things, learn the words, because one dar in, with a word is completely different to another bar or dar that you're in with a different word. So
important.
You sing dums and bars and have those words in your mind, and I definitely would say learn the words.
Great tip.
I think I would say, based on the fact that it took me a long time to get past the audition, don't give up, because when you've got there, it's addictive and you can't get enough of it, I'd say.
I would say it's probably true actually for all parts, but it's worked for me, and it's taken time and I'm still working on it, is to find my inner freedom, if that makes sense. It's a sort of an abstract thing, but you can't go out on stage feeling anything other than free if you want to give a really good performance.
I think that ties in with one that I was going to say, which was just relax. I think so often people try so hard to reach these low notes, and actually if you just relax and let the sound fall out, that's sometimes the best way to get there.
I would say the same thing, Ros. I was about to say that it's just sing. You don't overthink things. Because if your voice will just naturally gel, it just people, when we overthink things, that's when things start falling apart or things go wrong. So if you just sing as if I said, like, no one's watching, or you're singing in the shower, that's usually the best moments. That if you think like that, just don't overthink it, just sing it. Obviously learn it, but sing it as well. Sing it, don't think too much about it.
Trust yourself that you do know it, and just relax and
enjoy it as well.
Absolutely.
That's quite an important one, Sue.
Smile, you've got to smile as well.
Why are you doing it if you're not enjoying it?
I'm just sorry, I know I've spoken, but just it reminds me of a comic interlude of what we're talking about, the bums and relaxing and enjoying it. It just reminds me, and I can't remember the coach that we had, but it was one of our coaches, and it was one of our fun songs. It wasn't a competition song. And she said, so now you've got to open up your bums. It was kind of to the point of relaxing and kind of opening up. Anyway, so
great tips coming from Rachel now. Aim high to sing low and open up your bums.
All right,
just relax and open up your bums
now.
No, I'm just a very enthusiastic person. When I talk to people, I'm just so excited about bass and barbershop that it's infectious.
Definitely.
We have one lead who's come over to bass in the last year or two, and I'm always encouraging her.
Excellent. I think that support within the chorus is so important for new people trying the part as well. I think my final tip is to think of it as if the bass part is a melody. You're singing a melody, it's just a different one from the one that everyone else knows. And I think that has having that mindset has really helped me kind of access the emotion of the song and just kind of sing it with a more musical line rather than just think of myself as a bass. We're singing a melody, it's just a kind of different one.
And anyway, if somebody asked us to sing the melody, we couldn't, because all we know is the line.
Well, we could, but it would be an octave lower.
But we know the words. We know the words, though.
Yeah, but honestly, if people ask me, they say, you're singing, so you're learning XYZ song. And I say, yes, can they sing it to me? And I sing it to them, and they have no idea what I'm singing, because I honestly only know the bass line.
Special version.
Yeah, it's the better version.
Yes.
Oh, well, I think that's an amazing set of top tips for anybody watching this who is interested in having a go at bass, or if they've already started singing bass, to kind of help them develop. Lots of golden nuggets in there. So thank you all so much for chatting to me this evening. I've really enjoyed myself. Thanks for everyone participating so well.
Thank you.
It's been really fun.
Yeah.
We'll see you again sometime soon.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.